Okay, action.
Give me like
3, 2, 1, action.
Today, we'll be talking about student loans. Let's go.
This is an important topic for all of us heading to college soon, so make sure to pay attention.
With college being so expensive these days, kids now apply for student loans, which is money given to you by either the government or a private donor. Today we have Mr. Kelly here talking to us about federal and private loans. Mr. Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Blankenbaker.
You're welcome.
So starting out, there are two types of loans you can get, both federal and private. Federal loans are loans that you get from the government, and they're usually the go-to because they're affordable, easy to qualify for, and borrower-friendly. So if I were you, I'd go to these first. Secondly, if you... Me too. Secondly, if you still need more, there are private loans. So private loans are taken from lenders like banks, credit unions, and online lenders. But one thing is they typically require approval. So I would have your parent apply. This would be smart because they have a better credit score, and also they have a sufficient income, so it looks better when you're applying for the loan. They will most likely get it. Thank you.
Here's how it works.
Thanks for that, Teague. Now here's Mr. Cooper to talk about how to apply for student loans.
Thanks, Mr. Jack. Start with your school's financial aid office and ask what type of aid are available. Be sure to discuss grants and scholarships as well as loans. Fill out the FAFSA form, which gathers information about you and your finances. The U.S. government and your school uses that information to determine your need for the financial aid. Complete your FAFSA as soon as possible, every calendar year. Just do the best you can when filling it out. You can go back and update any estimate later in the year. Apply for aid with your school's financial aid office through any other promising sources and wait for the results. If approved, you could decide to take all or part of the aid available, and you'll probably need to complete an introductory entrance counseling session to learn how your loans work. For private loans, find a lender and complete a loan application with that lender. Determine when you need to repay. You might not have to start paying immediately, but it's critical to understand when payments are due.
T, do you think this is something you're going to do in the next few years?
I think it would be a great idea to do.
Thanks, Coop, for teaching us how to apply for student loans. Now to Mr. Teague to talk about debt.
Over 44 million Americans collectively hold nearly $1.6 trillion in debt.
Do you mean
Student
billion?
debt. No, I
It's
mean
trillion. That's a lot.
I know. That means that roughly 1 in 4 American adults are paying off their student debt today.
Oh, hey. Thanks for that, Teague. Now to Jack Parker with some more information on debt and loans.
Thank you very much, Cooper.
You're welcome.
The average college debt among student loan borrowers in America is $32,731, according to the Federal Reserve. Most borrowers have between $25,000 and $50,000 outstanding in student loan debt. This is a lot.
Wow.
For someone around our parents' age, like a 1988 graduate that went to Harvard, they would have paid $17,000 for their senior year. But if they were paying for their child to go there today, for that same year and same education, it'd be $44,990. One thing that's really important for many people that have to pay or cannot pay for their own college, so they take out loans, is limiting their debt. And there are a multitude of ways to do this. The first is getting a job early in high school and starting to save as early as you can. Another is taking high school seriously, getting good grades with a high GPA, and getting a good SAT and ACT score give you a better chance to earn scholarships and can take the price off of college. If you have the ability to take AP classes, that can reduce the amount of classes you need to take when you get to a college. Apply for need-based financial aid. Even if your family does make a decent amount of money, you can always get need-based financial aid. Also search for scholarships. They don't always come from the school, but they can come from different things like banks, from your parents' employers, or even from organizations you're looking to study. Take a different approach to college. You can go to community college for 2 years and save up a lot of money and then transfer to a larger school. Also, going to a state school can reduce your debt by having a cheaper education. Work part-time when you're in school, just like working in high school and saving up if you can work while you're in college and get a part-time job to chip away at some of that debt. Fill out a free application for federal student aid. This is something that can be done each year. Most people just think it's something that can be done when they're entering college, but it can be done each year, and that gives you a better chance of earning money. And then have a budget while you're in college and avoid credit cards. That's something we've talked about in this class, but it's very important to know your spendings and know how much you can spend and how much you can't.
How do you feel about this, Mr. Kelly?
I think this is super important just because, like we said earlier, we're all heading off to college, and these are important tips and tricks to know so you cannot be in debt.
What about you, Teague?
I think this is important so that you don't have to pay off your debt for most of your lifetime.
Thanks for that, Jack Parker. And now over to John Thomas Kelly, the third, 3, with some more information. Wonder where he is. Oh, hey.
It's
What's up,
John.
guys? Did you know if you have qualifying student loan debt, you can deduct an interest you paid on the loan during the tax year? This is capped at $2,500 in total interest per return, not per person. In other words, if you're single, you can deduct as much as $2,500 of student loan interest.
Wow, how about that? Thanks, Jack. And now over to Cooper.
The future of student loans could be a very dark one. If we stay on the path that we're on, Forbes predicts that student debt and student loans will be the next financial crisis, like the housing market collapse, because there are trillions of dollars that are disappearing and not being repaid. Now over to Jack.
Thank you, Cooper. With college tuition continuing to rise and student debt also continuing to rise, then there are going to be less people wanting to take out student loans because they're going to become so expensive. And what fields require the most student loans? Medical fields. And we need our doctors. We need our veterinarians. So who in the workforce is going to take charge? I don't know. You or me? Maybe. We have to figure this out because it could be a very dark future like Cooper said.